Now we can start. It is my pleasure to welcome you to today's program, hosted by the Permanent Mission of Ukraine to the United Nations and organized by United Nations accredited NGO partners, the World Congress of Ukraine, and the World Federation of Ukrainian Women's Organizations. I am your MC, Bojana Dergalo, Youth Representative for the World Federation of Ukrainian Women's Organizations. The honoring of International Mother Language Day has become a tradition of the United Nations community since it was first proclaimed by the General Conference of UNESCO on November 17, 1999. Following on this initiative, the United Nations General Assembly called upon member states, beginning in 2007, to promote the preservation and protection of all languages used by peoples of the world. On the eve of the 61st session of the Commission on the Status of Women, we are dedicating today's program to the contribution to Ukraine's literature and arts of women who chose the vehicle of their mother tongues, Ukrainian and Crimean Tatar, to express their life experiences and their worldview. I invite the host of our event, His Excellency, Ambassador Volodymyr Yelchenko, Permanent Representative of Ukraine to the United Nations, to voice his greetings.
Thank you very much. Dear Undersecretary General Pollard, dear colleagues, distinguished representatives of Ukrainian community in the United States, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here today with us on the occasion of the UN International Mother Language Day. These days, Ukraine and all Ukrainians abroad are celebrating the 203rd anniversary of the birth of the famous Ukrainian artist Taras Shevchenko. For us, he is the author of Ukrainian spiritual constitution Kobzar. However, his figure is much more monumental. By his works, he provided refuge and salvation for the whole nation. Recently, Shevchenko Prize winner, famous Ukrainian poet and publisher Ivan Malkovich has said, "The language is known to be a key marker of national identity." Through centuries, the fight for the language has accompanied Ukrainian struggle for independence. That is why, for me, it is symbolic that the UN International Mother Language Day was also established to commemorate the fight and sacrifice for recognition of native language. It is even more important for all of us today. I would like to thank our guests, our organization committee, speakers and performers who will appear in today's program, and I also want to wish all of us to love and cherish our native language. І нехай материнське слово буде для всіх нас оберегом. Дякую. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I now invite Catherine Pollard of Guyana, the Undersecretary General for the General Assembly and Conference Management, to say a few words, please.
Ambassador Yelchenko, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me congratulate you, Mr. Ambassador, for your leadership in raising awareness of the contribution of mother languages in achieving our common goals. And I thank you very much for inviting me to join my voice to yours on this important matter. As the United Nations headquarters is getting ready for the opening of the 61st session of the Commission on the Status of Women next Monday, I am delighted to take part in a discussion that specifically aims at addressing the interconnection between language and gender. Interestingly enough, most nations keep referring to languages received at birth as the mother's language rather than the father's language. This is seemingly a nearly universal feature across world languages. This certainly demonstrates, if it were needed, the relevance of today's topic. Beyond this anecdote, you are aware that for the past year, I have made a point of explaining the critical contribution made by multilingualism to achieving the goals of the United Nations, whether it is international peace and security, development, or human rights. I also believe that we must keep in mind that it is the responsibility of the United Nations Secretariat to mainstream multilingualism in all of our activities as a core value of the organization. In this regard, human rights in general and women's rights in particular are no exception. As a matter of fact, languages and women's rights are closely intertwined. Women from minority or indigenous language groups face greater barriers to accessing healthcare and quality education, and they are also disproportionately at risk of harmful practices. Women in language minorities also suffer from unequal access to economic resources. They are more likely to be illiterate and be excluded from participatory processes and political representation. But languages are also part and must be part of the winning equation. Agenda 2030, as the Sustainable Development Goals adopted in 2015, are collectively referred to aiming at leaving no one behind. Indeed, I doubt that any of the goals and any of the targets of Agenda 2030 could be met without integrating the language components. My deep belief is that languages as a medium of communication, as a vehicle for thoughts, or policies, or programs, or information materials, our reports, or deliberations, are certainly key to achieving Agenda 2030, and in particular, goal number 5, gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. This is why the UN Secretariat operates on a daily basis in a myriad of languages, not only in its working and official languages, but also in dozens of local languages that best fit the communities that are supposed to be helped by the Sustainable Development Goals. For instance, the United Nations country team in Ukraine maintains a website in Ukrainian language. Only by reaching out to the target audience in a technologically and linguistically accessible manner will we collectively achieve the very purpose of our organization and implement the mandates from the member states to the Secretariat. That is why, as the coordinator for multilingualism, I avail myself of every opportunity to raise awareness, both internally with the UN and externally with all stakeholders, about the importance of multilingualism as an enabler of our multilateral system. And that is why I have pleasure in joining you all here today. So I thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for inviting me to join you today and responding to this critical question. And it is my hope that the film presentation and the cultural performances that we will see today will further prove my case and give the audience the opportunity to hear the beauty and specificities of the Ukrainian language. Thank you very much, and I wish us all a delightful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Undersecretary. Before we continue with our program, I would like to greet certain guests. Oresa Sushko, President of the World Federation of Ukrainian Women's Organizations. Ayla Bakali. Ayla Bakali, United States of America representative of the Crimean Tatar Majlis and advisor to the Ukraine Permanent Mission for Indigenous Affairs. And from the top, I'd like to thank our co-sponsors, the Self-Reliance New York Federation Credit Union, the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America, the Ukrainian National Women's League of America, the Volya Institute for Contemporary Law and Society. Thank you for your support. We start our program today with a preview clip from a forthcoming feature-length drama, Julia Blue, written by Roxy Toporovich, produced by Nilu Safinya. Shot entirely on location in Ukraine, this love story is about a bright an idealistic student activist from Ukraine's west, and a wounded soldier returning from the current war in the east. For her work, the director won the Calvin Klein Spotlight on Women's Filmmakers Grant at the 2016 Gotham Film Awards. The main roles in this film are beautifully acted by Polina Snasirenko and Dima Yaroshenko. Let us take a look.
Юля, а можно тебя как-нибудь куда-нибудь пригласить за госпиталь? Это очень хорошо, что ты до сих пор волонтеришь. Ты, наверное, очень патріотичний.
Я ж з краю Бандери, то мене важко злякати. Я маю тобі дещо сказати.
We are happy today to have the director of Julia Blue, Roxy Toropovich, and we would like her to say a few words about this project.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having myself and Nilu here. This is such a huge honor. I'm actually a little bit nervous. Hi, kids. I can't wait to see you perform. You look so cute. Дуже гарненько. Super. So yes, very briefly, I made this film while living in Ukraine. I grew up speaking Ukrainian, and I was there on a Fulbright scholarship. And I wanted to tell a story about a very young, strong girl. That's what I saw around me, were these amazing volunteers and students. And the best language for me is the language of cinema, because film can go very far. People love the movies, they love love, and you can actually share your culture and share where you come from and introduce them to new cultures like Ukraine. So yes, that's the backstory of the film. When I was about to go into production, I was looking for a producer. I wanted a female producer because, no offense to the men, but women producers are amazing and get things done, especially in a country of Ukraine where they're not really used to or have had independent cinema whatsoever. This is a whole new ball game for them over there. So I invited Nilu to come with me to Ukraine, and she can maybe tell you a little bit about her experience being a non-Ukrainian, dealing with Ukrainian cinema.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you, Mr. Secretary, or Mr. Ambassador and Madam Undersecretary as well. We're really happy to be here, and it was such an honor to be able to show this preview to you guys. Very few people have seen it, so those of you who are videotaping. So Roxy invited me to join her in Ukraine, and it was quite an amazing experience for me. I'd never been to Ukraine. I didn't know too much about Ukraine going into it, and I think I got on a plane 48 hours after she called me and joined her there. And
I didn't tell anybody she was arriving, so they were very surprised.
Yes, yeah. So that was it was an interesting experience. We had a very large crew of incredibly talented people, all local Ukrainians, mostly men. We did have a lot of women. We did have women as well, but there were a lot of men on the crew just by virtue of the way the industry is over there. And we were a duo of women leading this charge of about 40 some men. And this was something that was very unusual for them in the film industry there. But it took a few days, but I think eventually they got used to it, and they actually were quite impressed by us ultimately. And particularly one of the most amazing things was that we shot part of the film in Kyiv, but then we went to the Carpathian Mountains to shoot another part of the film into a village there. And in the village particularly, the men were very responsive to us.
They were
there.
like our assistants. They were great.
they loved having us there.
Yes.
And the other thing that was really wonderful in the village was that we noticed that so many of the people in charge in the village were all women. Like the one hotel that was in this village that our whole crew stayed at, and they took such good care of us, was run by a woman. The one wedding venue in the village was run by a woman. Her husband was her assistant. The one restaurant, cafe.
They were all women run.
Yeah.
And the village has like not a mayor, but a little ruler, I suppose. I don't know what you would call it. And it was this woman who like made all the final decisions. So it really was like an amazing experience to shoot in the village and also to shoot a film in Ukrainian language. I mean, I'm American, and even though I speak Ukrainian, just having for them and for actresses Polina and Vika, these two lead actresses in the film, they've never experienced being directed by a woman, shooting in Ukrainian language, or playing a part that was powerful and positive. A lot of the roles that they're given are not positive. There's not Ukrainian roles. There's not many Ukrainian language films. So that was very cool. I mean, I can't say that I knew that was going to happen or knew that would be such like a huge influence for them, but yes.
Yeah, that's been one of the most wonderful things for us in this last year. We went back about exactly a year later to do some sound recording and things like that with our actors, and we got to show Polina and Vika some of the scenes from the film, and it was incredible to watch Polina watching herself on the screen and what a strong female character she was portraying. She was so moved by it, and it seemed really inspired by herself. And they actually, I think Polina was in tears when
she was in tears.
Yeah.
And you all will be too when you see it in 2017.
Yes. Yeah.
I want it to end.
Each mother tongue is a quintessential vehicle of a unique worldview. For this reason, local women's movements have often insisted on expressing their specific positions in their own native languages. I am pleased to introduce to you today our keynote speaker, Dr. Marta Bohachevsky-Homyak, a renowned authority on the Ukrainian women's movement and an eyewitness to the contemporary events in Ukraine.
Therefore, as an old professor, I need to stand when I speak. Thank you very much. Mr. Ambassador, Madam Secretary, it is a great honor to go back to the UN I remember my first trip here in the 1950s, before most of you were born. So I come here with a long tradition and perhaps a slightly different view of why we're here. It's a very indeterminate day today. You can't decide if it's winter or if it's spring. In a sense, the holiday which we are marking today is also quite indeterminate. We're celebrating the native language, the mother tongue, the first language, a linguistic code. But we are living in a global age. We are meeting in a world historic global meeting place. So what are we celebrating? The first native language, which the whole global community had, which probably was limited to sounds, grunts, signs. Is this what we're celebrating? Is this the native language? Are we really limited to this type of interaction? Today's holiday is a very new holiday, as you were told. It is also a rather unknown holiday outside of the august halls of the UN. There are very many languages, and you know that better than I do. Each year, the number of languages declines as the number of people in the world increases. Each year, a certain amount of languages die. As our awareness of our interdependence grows, so do the languages decline. Languages die because they lose meaning. Languages die when they cease to be able to create new terms for what is happening in their world. The formal definition of the death of a language is, and I quote, when a language loses word formation productivity. Note the word structure, word formation productivity. We're losing the ability to formulate sentences. It's almost as if we're going back to the old dead Latin, where you can make a really important philosophical statement in three words. Veni, venit, vici. Names of family relationships are dying. The more developed a country, the more developed a language, the simpler it is. And with the old languages, you have these extremely complex relationships. The aunt on the mother's side, the uncle on the father's side, all of these things. All of this is dying. Instead, what we have is slogans, symbols. A symbol now, I'll show you a red circle, and you'll tell me what it is. I don't have to say the name of the store. OMG, and my children, my grandchildren know what it is, even if I don't know what it is. Women are different. Women talk. Women write poetry. Women write bad poetry. It doesn't stop them from writing poetry. Women say their prayers, long prayers. Women express wonder. and women stay put. Regimes may change, countries may change, but women stay put. Women stay put, and women speak their language. Ukraine is a particularly telling case in point. For over 300 years, people have been trying to argue that there is no Ukrainian language, that there is no Ukrainian ability to write any type of sophisticated poetry or literature or philosophy. Language is being persecuted. People are punished for speaking the language, and yet the language survives. The language survives without state support. The language survives without money. The language survives among the people. The language is declared dead, but it rises like the grass each spring. The imperial forces try to ruin it. The international forces try to ruin it. Social discrimination tries to make fun of it, but the language still survives. What is interesting in contemporary Ukraine, and those of you from Ukraine can speak better and attest better to that particular development, is the revival not only of Ukrainian as the state language, but the revival of other languages, chief among them Crimean Tatar, Hebrew, and especially Yiddish. Yiddish, which is seeing a revival of Yiddish literature and Yiddish publications, specifically in Ukraine. So that not only have the Ukrainians managed to reinvent their own language, but despite these years of organized government repression, they have managed to learn that once the native language will bloom, if all the other languages which are native will also be able to flourish. Today, we are also marking Shevchenko. Mind you, Shevchenko was punished and forbidden to speak and write in Ukrainian in the 1860s. Flip that date, and in the 1980s, another poet, Stus, was not permitted to live so that he would not be considered for a Nobel Prize. I can bore you here with details of when the Ukrainian language was forgotten. But remember, women speak their language to their children. But when the children leave the home, what language do they speak? When the children come back home to the mothers, what language do they speak? We need to have the native language emerging each generation, each group of people. Language is a means of expression, and language will be strong only when we are expressing strong and deep feelings. Language will be strong only if it has meaning. If language does not have meaning, we do not have language. We have cant, we have rhetoric, we have continuous talk shows repeating the same darn thing without making any sense of it. Language, we have to remember, is the most sophisticated vehicle we have to establish our humanity. We don't have any other means of expressing ourselves. We have no other means of being. Language is. Language doesn't need to be defined. Language is, just as the human is. We need to nurture that language, defend the dignity of the language. Otherwise, first we'll lose the meaning of the word. Then we'll lose the meaning of the law. Then we'll lose the meaning of humanity. That was really pointed out to us a few years ago in the next Maidan revolution in Ukraine, when I saw the stiletto-clad Ukrainian women of the Maidan passing bricks, hand from dainty hand, on their high heels. This was the chain of meaning. This was the reason we exist. This is the reason we are still humankind and not reduced back to our grunting and pointing. We defend through language the dignity of humanity in all of its manifestations. So on this day, on which we are celebrating the closest we come to an innate international language, let's not lose language to linguistic death. Let us always remember that when a language loses its ability to produce the words the society needs, then that society has to not only defend the language, but that society has to go public. Ukraine has been going public and continues going public in the defense of its language and of its rights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for your remarks. Our next performers will be reading two poems from the extensive opus of Ukraine's preeminent poetess and playwright of the late 19th, early 20th centuries, Lesa Ukrainka. One of her most beloved works is a neo-romantic symbolic drama entitled Lisova Pisnya, or Forest Song. The play tells of a noble and idealistic forest nymph who falls in love with a mortal human and tries to fit into his day-to-day life, with tragic results. For the musical backdrop to the Forest Song, Lesa Ukrainka chose 16 folk melodies of the Volyn region of Ukraine, whose folklore and mythology informed the play. We will hear these same melodies played by a lovely duet of violinists who graced us with their calming strings as we took our seats. With music by Mykola Leontovich, Mykola Lysenko, Kirilo Stetsenko, and Mykola Kolesa. They're Anastasia Antoniev and Irina Kit, both associated with the New York Virtuosa Orchestra. In Lesa Ukrainka's poems, you will hear her strong, courageous voice, calling for the freedom of the Ukrainian people from the colonial domination and their true independence. The English translations are by Dr. Percival Kundi, whose work was published by the Ukrainian National Women's League of America in 2050 under the title The Spirit of Flame. The original Ukrainian will be read by Lesa Topolia and in English by Nadia Scaglione. The first poem, Where Are the Strings, was published in 1902 on the brink of the revolution, which leads which led to the Ukrainian Revolution in 1917 and the establishment of the first, though short-lived, Ukrainian modern state. The music that will be played by the violinists is by Микола Лисенко, «На роковини смерті Тараса Шевченка». The second poem, titled Vain Tears, from the collection of poetry published as On the Wings of Song. The music played by our violinists here is music by Stanislav Ludkevich, Lamentation from Unsung Songs. Thank you.
Де тії струни, де голос потужний, де теє слово крилате, щоб заспівали про се лихоліття, щастям і горем багате, щоб понесли все приховане в мурах геть на просторі майдани, щоб переклали на людською мову те, що співають кайдани.
Where is the strong-winged word to sing of these evil days, a word by which both joy and grief are stirred, to carry what's immersed in prison walls for all of the spacious plains, to translate into human speech the strains which sounds from fetters and from chains.
Єрусалим мав свого Єремію, що голосив серед поля. Чом же свого Єремії немає наша знедолена воля? Полум'ям вічним, на жах всім нащадкам данкове пекло палає. Пекло страшніше горить в нашім краї. Чом же ми Данта не маєм?
Jerusalem had once her Jeremy, who's in a desert cried aloud, why have we not a Jeremy to speak of our lost freedoms, ravished, cowed? With endless fires to warm posterity, great Dante's hell is still aflame. A hell far worse burns in our native land. Why can we not a Dante name?
Гей, блискавице, громова сестрице, де ти? Розбий сії чари. Хай ми хоч раз заговоримо громом, так, як весняні хмари.
O lighting, sister of the thunderbolt, where art thou? Break this evil spell. Let us speak out and tempt this prophecy, and loud in spring the storms foretell.
Скрізь плач, і стогін, і ридання, несмілі поклики, слабі. Й на долю марні нарікання, як чола схилені в журбі. Над давнім лихом України жалкуєм, тужим в кожен час, з плачем ждемо тієї години, коли спадуть кайдани з нас. Ті сльози розтруюють рани, загоїтись їм не дайдуть, заржавіють від сліз кайдани, самі ніколи не впадуть. На що даремні її скорботи? Назад нема нам вороття, берімось краще до роботи, змагаймось за нове життя.
Laments and groans all around. Irresolute face challenges, complaints against vile destiny, and foreheads bowed in bitterness. And all the time we still bewail our Ukraine's ancient misery. With tears we wait for the coming day, for chains to break and set us free. Such tears, the more inflame our wounds, delay our healings, make them ache. Our chains might rust from falling tears, but of themselves, they'll never break. What are such despondent moods? For turning backwards 'tis too late. Much rather let us set to work and strive a future to create.
Lesa Ukrainka, despite her spiritual life, suffered from the tuberculosis of the bones from the age of 9 and died prematurely, having spent the life of a recluse, seeking pain reliefs in warm climates, which is how she came to know Crimea and its people, including the Crimean Tatars. The Crimean Tatar language is essential to the people indigenous to the peninsula, which is once again occupied by a colonial force and subjected to extreme indignities against its culture and the people's human rights. First, we will hear Zulfire Asanova, who will read a poem by Sabriye Ariyapova titled Hasta Kezdrik ve Anai, which translates to Ill Girl with Her Mother. Sabriye Hanım, a Crimean Tatar woman, was born in 1912 in Bakhchisarai, Crimea. She sang at Crimean Central Radio and devoted her life to Crimean Tatar songs, music, lyric, and theater. After the 1944 deportation of the Crimean Tatars, she turned to writing poetry in exile. This one is about a little Crimean Tatar girl who is ill herself during the deportation and asks her mother, "Why are there so many people dying? Are they all sick? Is everyone cold like us?" Mother says, "Do not worry yourself with such questions," and consoles her by telling her to close her eyes. The little girl closes her eyes, never to open them again.
Хаста қызчық Виана. Аначығым, яқын келсе, башымны sıcağını бақ. Лампамызда газ біткен, чырақ парчасыны яқ. Ақшам олса, bu землянка маға мезардай көріне. Анай, айтса, ne için İrkun pek çok insan öyle. Yoksa olar menday hastalar mı? Yoksa bütün kadınlar senday Yalnız mı? Yoksa herkesin evinde bizim gibi çırak yok mu? Yoksa hiçbirinde bizday yakar yok mu? Sen kızcığım çok sorama. Azıcık otmek kap. Sıcağın çok kötürülgen. Yukla, kosçuklarını yap. Ben barayım, komşudan biraz yakar sorayım. O birdayin komşudan biraz sağa ilaç sorayım. Anacığım, tek darılma. Ben tek bir şey isteyeyim senden. Şunu tapsan, çok isterdim onu görmege. Ondan gayrı anacığım hiçbir şey istemeyeyim. Tapıp olsan, ozumuzun çeşmemizden biraz su ver. Şay dedi de, hasta kızcık kosçuklarını açmadı. Ayağın suyu çok uzakta. Ana onu tapamadı. Hasta kızcık olup gitti. Ayağın suyunu içmeden. Ana onu bir vakit unutmadı özünden. Seda kele kulağına kara çukur mezardan, mezarlıkta taşlar inli bu büyük anzaradan. Bu yerge de yetişir, taşar, gelir bu ayan. Men ölsem de halkım ölmez. Bunu inan, sen dayan.
Sağ olun. Çok sağ olun.
And now I would like to invite here Lila Mametova, who will read a poem by Aisha Akeh, a young Crimean Tatar who remains currently in her Crimean home. The poem is entitled Yashlara Mujarat, which translates to Plea to Youth. The poem is about the current occupation of Crimea, which says, sadly, the world knows us only in our suffering. This Crimea is ours, and we will continue to protect it, and will never leave it, no matter what comes our way.
Yaşlarга муражаат. Коркуң узак диярларда жоюлсун. Титреме халкым. Söyle, yaşadı mı dehşet horluqnu ecdadın? Boysundu, çıdadı mı yoksa? Yok, kureşni başladı. Milli hukuknu korçalap, galebe kazandı. Ulu hanlar, geraylar devrinde, bundan son ve evvel, ihtişamlı tarihin yazıldı. Koyuldu bir temel, dünyada tanılgan, yenilmez, cesur bir millet. Yok olur mu şimdi? Baş eger mi? Söyle. Mustahak bir halkның evladısın, unutma sakın. Mında musafir değilsin, evindir Kırım. Tamgalı bayraqны tiklemek borcundur senin. Düşmanğa boysunmak artık yoktur hakkın. Akıbet ömürde olsun senin de katты bir izin. Muqayt ol, sınıflarga bölme tuğan halkını. Kırımның bağları, dağları, sınırsız çölleri, senin, onun Yemenim değildir. Bizimdir, bizim. Musulmansın dostum, Bir şeyini bilmelisin demek. Umutten vazgeçmek kesinlikle yasaktır dinde. Sınavlar rast geldi mi? Şükür et, ıntıl epokge. Kırım Tatarlarının küçünü bildirsen bütün alemge. Дякую.
And now, we'll hear a duet on the traditional Ukrainian instrument, the bandura, performed by the Berehenya Ensemble. Our performers are Halia Bodnar and Yulia Stupan. They will perform two songs, The Land of the Poplars by poet Mykola Synhaivsky, put to music by Filipenko, and a folk song called The Cossack Went Secretly. Choir from the School of Ukrainian Studies in Philadelphia, directed by Halina Bodnar. Soloveyko means nightingale. Our nightingales will be accompanied by Lyubov Shchuyko. They will sing us 3 songs composed by Natalia Mai. We are girls from Ukraine. The Falcons are coming of age, and love Ukraine.
Українці, батько і ненька, Українці.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being here with us today. Being your MC has meant an immense honor for me, since this event is in particular dedicated to my culture. I would like to thank all our speakers and participants who put their time and effort to make this event happen. Thank you all. This has meant a lot to the permanent mission of Ukraine to the United Nations, as well as to the overall community of the UN. Thank you and have a blessed day.